Hello, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to
Oh, Jason, you're jammed.
episode 159. And yeah, we don't have a name because we're doing these live now.
Yeah, so we'll come up with a name later.
I'm gonna have to alter my thing, my intro.
Yeah.
So
do we even have? Oh, we do have a list. Okay, it's just that you and Derek were talking so much that I lost track of it.
Yes, we have a list. We always have that's the I've picked up two things from my mom, and one is the love of grilled tuna and cheese sandwiches, and the other is making lists.
Now,
so
I'm not very good at making lists or doing things on lists. I mean, I do love deadlines. I love the whooshing sound as they go by.
My mom had a certain level of OCD, and she loved to keep lists, and not like a hoarder, but she was a pack rat.
Oh yeah,
something for 4 months, but then she couldn't throw that stuff away. So when she passed, we went through her stuff, and she had 2 5-gallon buckets full of seashells, like a 3-gallon bucket full of sand, and all these rocks.
My
aunt, pine cones, and it was weird.
Yeah, my aunt, when she went to Hawaii, she brought back everybody those bottles from Hobby Lobby, with the metal cork things, and they're full of sand from the beach and then ocean water and then corked up. She gave those to everybody, and I'm like, I mean, it's not exactly Hawaii, but I guess could be worse.
Yeah. So
could be a damn t-shirt.
True. Lighters. They do those too. Yeah, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Eric and Tyler. They were recording on Rebel Without a Cause. That is,
yep.
And I made a comment, and he put it up on the screen. It was completely unrelated, and Tyler's like, "Oh, that's Jason. He's in California." And they talked about the podcast for a little bit and gave us a cool, positive review. So that was fantastic. So,
yeah, that was I gotta say, I went back and I watched that to hear what they actually said, and I was kind of geeking out, man. That was really cool that they gave us a quick shout out and stuff. And so if you're here because they told you to come listen to us, awesome, and thanks to those guys.
We have such a small podcast, the end of the year wrap up that Spotify does. I sent a couple screenshots to the chat group, and we hit 20,000 listens on MP3 that have been up since September 2019.
I mean, slow and steady wins the race. We're not the hair.
So yeah, since September 2019, we've gotten 20,000 MP3 listens. I think it was 20,046 or something. So, but we hit 20,000.
Woo! I mean, I'm not gonna complain.
I mean,
hell yeah.
It was and there was 37 episodes this year, not including this current one, and it came out to an average of an hour and 58 per episode, and so
what does that figure? We probably have 5 listeners. So,
well,
we have
actually,
20,000.
according to the thingy, the wrap up, it says we have 131 unique. So we have 131 different people that listen to this, which means there's 130 of you that are really bored and one of you that is probably criminally insane.
Yeah, at least statistically, at least one. But that means that they listen to an average of almost 153 hours.
Why?
Man, I don't know. That's
why would you? I don't know. Some people that are.
I'm all about that though, man. We're over 100 subscribers. Like that's freaking sweet.
Yeah, the Facebook is, or the Facebook, the YouTube, I think, is like 350 subscribers. So at least that many people see us.
Yeah, sweet. Hopefully you guys all click the little bell icon so you see when we go live and shit. No misses, because I have discovered, I think I mentioned it before. If you try to search for Anarchy Among Friends on YouTube, it will not find us. Like we're blocked from YouTube searches. You can't pull us up. You have to actually go either to the Voluntary Agrarian YouTube page, or somebody needs to send you a link to find us.
Yeah, because I don't know. We are who we are on that one, I guess.
It's probably because we occasionally have, the big scary firearms on the show, and we
firearms, and we say the C word, which is COVID.
I was gonna say Constitution.
Oh no, the other C word.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, the coof.
Yeah,
and the Szechuan flu. And
let's see. That sounds like it might be a good segue into the first article.
Sweet.
Let's see. We got two of them. We can go East Coast or West Coast.
Why don't let's see. I'm looking at why don't we do the Fox News article, just because.
Which one?
Well, one, it's Fox News, and two, because it's about masks, which is one of my least favorite things.
What? Oh, the student.
Yes, because this one, like, I want to start out like getting pissed off.
This is technically an update on a previous article that we covered. All right, we covered a previous article about a school that literally tied a mask to a 6-year-old special needs girl's face because she kept taking it off. She's special needs. They literally, like, they put the mask on her and took some string and literally tied the mask onto her face. Right.
If you had done that in Abu Ghraib, you would be tried for a war crime.
Yes.
Well, not if you're an American soldier.
This was against the parents' wishes. And they didn't know that it was happening until the teacher forgot to take the mask off the girl when she went home at the end of the day. So the girl arrived home after the bus with the mask tied to her face, and the mask just completely soaked with the girl's saliva and sweat.
Because that's super healthy. Like inhaling stale moisture.
That's not how you get bronchitis at all.
Yeah, no, that couldn't possibly result in any kind of infections or anything else.
This is a 6-year-old special need girl. She has, I think, Down syndrome and something else. And one of the things that they pointed out in the original article was that her tongue is too large for her mouth, and so she kind of pants. Right, her tongue kind of hangs out of her mouth a little bit, and putting the mask on her, it was just the tongue going up against the mask and saliva, and just not good. Right, but either way, the police have determined that the Florida school did not commit child abuse by tying the mask to the disabled student's face.
So the state investigated itself and found it did nothing wrong. What a shocker.
Yes, a police report determined that a Florida school and its teachers did not commit a crime or child abuse after it emerged last month that they tied a mask to the face of a student with Down syndrome. Quote, there is insufficient evidence to support a criminal violation against the teacher and the instructional assistant of 7-year-old Sophia Bazara, reads a police report from the Indian Harbor Police Department. Quote, there was no evidence presented which supports that Sophia received physical or emotional injury. This case is closed as unfounded.
Yeah, she's nonverbal, motherfuckers. She's fucking nonverbal. What was she?
I'm sorry she didn't say, excuse me, that is uncomfortable and I am not enjoying this.
Yeah, she's fucking nonverbal. She can't tell you that. That's what nonverbal fucking means.
Quote, as witnessed by multiple teachers, student aides, bus drivers, and school administration staff, at no time while having the mask tied on did Sophia ever exhibit any signs of distress, discomfort, difficulty breathing, or any other health concerns, the investigators concluded.
No, she didn't tell you. You know why she didn't tell you? Because she's fucking nonverbal.
Yes. The report comes after Becerra's stepfather, Jeffrey Steele, accused the educators at Ocean Breeze Elementary School in Indian Harbor Beach, Florida, of forcing his stepdaughter with Down syndrome to wear a mask by tying it to her head for roughly 6 weeks.
I mean,
Steele said that Sophia is nonverbal and has an enlarged tongue. He added that she cannot speak but breathes through her mouth, making the use of a mask dangerous to her health. On October 7th, Sophia stepped off the bus with a mask wet from her saliva tied to her head with a thin nylon string. He added that Sophia was not sent to school that day with a mask, nor any day prior.
I mean, I'm not going to say that regardless of the investigation, there are other solutions to this problem.
there's a lot of solutions that will get us canned off YouTube for suggestion.
Jack in the comments is doing fun little word association game there.
Sophia has an individual education plan, that's an IEP, which requires educators to notify parents of any changes to the plan, but Steele, that's the stepdad, said the school never informed him or his wife that Sophia would be required to wear a mask. They also claimed that the school did not ask for some consent to tie the mask to her face.
This again is why we bring up repeatedly on this show, stop sending your children to public fucking school. Because this is what they do. This is what they do all the time. They had no, and again, remember, just last week we covered where the school board is trying to keep parents from knowing, and we had a gubernatorial candidate in Virginia who said that parents don't deserve to know what their or have any control over what their children are learning in school. Apparently, you don't get to know whether or not your child is being held down and having something tied to their fucking face.
Oh, you know what I'm going to say next, right?
Every time, man. Every fucking time.
It gets better. Despite recommendations against criminal charges as a result of the investigation, the police report does corroborate Steele's claim that the teachers at the school tried several methods of attaching a mask to Sophia's face while not contacting her parents for consent. The school contacted other parents whose children were in Sophia's class and also had similar issues with keeping a mask on secured. Sophia had received an exemption to the school masks mandate, which was implemented in defiance of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' attempts to ban school mask mandates in response to a parent's complaint, but Steele hired an attorney and vowed legal action against the school.
She was even exempt.
She had an exemption on file with the school. Like she was not required to wear a mask according to the school. She did not go to school with a mask, but yet the teacher and the school, because everybody saw this, the principal had to know, right? Special ed's kid, there's only so many of those, that she was not wearing a mask when she got off the bus. But yet they're protecting this teacher who literally tied a mask against the parents' consent, against the orders, against the school policy, tied it to a special needs girl's face, and there's no charges. Nobody's in trouble because the non-verbal special needs girl did not verbalize that she was not comfortable with it.
And that's the thing too, is like, keep in mind, one, she's 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Two, she's also got Down syndrome.
Yes.
And three, the people doing this are authority figures, which means she is going to be compliant with them because she's obviously been taught to be compliant with the people in authority, and she's trusting them. So when they do something like this, obviously she's not going to rebel against it because she's trying to be a good kid and obey what she's told and do these things, which is also why you teach your kids to be fucking rebels. But regardless, this is, the Rona doesn't exempt anyone. Honk, honk.
Yeah, Jack says, the Rona doesn't exempt anyone. We must all be protected. Whether we like it or not, we're in this together. Clown, clown. Yes, absolutely. That's why, you know what happens? You know what we need to do? We need to go to the restaurants and learn what tables they're using. And then take those tables and chairs and put them in schools so that when kids sit down in schools, they're not going to get the Rona, right? Because you can't get the Rona sitting down in a restaurant, right?
Yeah, as long as you're sitting there eating, then it's okay. So clearly, because if the coronavirus comes in, they go,
we just need to put restaurant tables in schools, and then kids won't be able to get the Rona while they're sitting down.
I'm picturing that Patrick Star meme from fucking SpongeBob with first we take the tables and
it's so ridiculous. Like number one, the amount of fear mongering and fear porn and just hatred for individual liberty, the individual rights that take place for it to go this far, right? For a teacher to feel justified in tying a mask to a special needs girl's face.
Can you
as okay
to filter your
how do you get to that point that you feel justified or morally correct or whatever?
Right.
I just
and that's the thing, is to filter whether or not your behavior seems okay. Go, if this was testimony being delivered at the Nuremberg trials, would people glare at me? And if the answer is yes, then perhaps you don't have the moral high ground in your actions. I think that's a pretty solid litmus test.
I think somebody needs to start a brand of hemp rope named Nuremberg in Minecraft.
Yes. Hey, there are lots of people growing hemp now, right? So like somebody's bound to be able to make some nice, like about where it gets about that thick, right around there. And you can maybe do some loops and come up and around and, have a nice slip knot and, just a thought. This
is, as a parent, my son is autistic. He's technically high functioning autism, right? But he is autistic. And he did have trouble in school. And I am so fucking glad that my kids are old enough that they were not in school while all this stuff was going on. They graduated in 2019. But the amount of anger that I have over this situation, it's not my child. I have no relation to these people. I've never met them. I've seen the picture and read like 2 articles on it. The amount of anger I have is just literally insurmountable. I have Wood Chipper Go Burr playing in the back of my head right now.
Yeah. That has anybody made a song out of that yet?
Yes.
Like, I feel like that should be a rap.
Okay. The entry to Josh Smith's Break the Cycle is the song Wood Chipper Go Burr. It's the punk version of it. So
I really want to hear a nice song, like an Eric July should do a nice rap.
The original one is an acoustic version, and then somebody else re-recorded it as a punk version.
I will fucking rap if no one else does. And trust me, you people do not want to hear this white boy attempt to rap. All right. I am not Tom McDonald. I am certainly not Eminem. You don't want to hear me rap, but I will do it if necessary so that song exists.
No.
And in an Irish accent. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Because I will. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Like, I wind up with like a #1 single. I would love to hit a pedophile driving in my car, helicopter ride. Cause it's clear outside. They will do some research, get these pedophiles wide.
Yep. Now that we're gonna be banned from YouTube for that.
You know, that would be a great sing-along. Around like a campfire. Like, I normally, when dudes show up with to like bonfires with an acoustic guitar, I want to be like Belushi in Animal House and just smash the fuck out of it because you douche. But in that case, if that's the song that you want everybody to sing along to, I'm okay with that. I'll work with that.
I can't help but sing along to it when I hear it. Also, I sing it when I watch Break the Cycle. I sing along to it.
Yeah, wood chipper go burr.
Mm-hmm. I dropped it in the group chat for you.
Yeah, who's it by? So
it is by oh god, what's his name? Acid ACID ROPOSY.
Acid Dropsy?
Yeah, it's in the
Acid
group
Dropsy,
so.
I think, or Acid Draposy. Yeah, I love that it's Wood Chipper Go Burr in Minecraft. Like, that is the title.
Yes. If you watch Break the Cycle, the beginning is that song, Wood Chipper Go Burr, and then the ending song is another song they did, and it's like the first song first song I sang, it was entirely in jest. Please don't take me to jail. Right? It's like the entire song's like in a Minecraft for the second song.
Yes.
So.
You know, I mean, and I get that. I get that, but I'm already on enough federal watch list, so I'm unconcerned. Like, what are you gonna do to me? That's bring it. It's I'm nonplussed.
Let's see. While we're on the subject of little kids, let's transition to a article. This is an article about a study at Brown University that says pandemic restrictions may harm infants' cognitive development.
Oh, yeah. You know, I seem to remember being called a conspiracy theorist like 6 months ago for saying this exact fucking thing. Anybody else remember that? I'm sure you guys remember that. I know I remember being called that. So, just saying.
I'm trying to isolate you, so you bring up your hat. Somebody commented on your hat.
Oh yes. How do I don't have any control over this. This is your Dog and Pony show here, man. That's.
Oh nope, not. I don't want to mute you. I muted you by accident.
All right.
Okay, unmuted. Let's see. Solo layout.
There we go.
There we go. What's it say?
It says, "Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me."
Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah. Back when Rage Against the Machine was still raging against the machine and not on behalf of.
Yeah, now they're raging for the machine.
Yeah, rage on behalf of the machine is what they are now, bastards. You know, Zach De La Rocha should have never come back, man. Like, Tom Morello was doing just peachy without him.
Brent mentioned Far Cry 5.
Yes.
Your right flutter side. I got the patch, bro.
Yes. I have that patch on its way from Spirit of Resistance. I am looking very forward to it. I have actually 4 patches and a sticker.
Yes. That was a good sale.
Yeah, that was a really good sale. Yeah, the sticker I have is one of the Spirit of Resistance, the insignia ones, and I don't remember exactly what's on it, but it was cool. I can tell you that. It has the Anarchy A in the middle. It's got the big Anarchy A in the middle.
Yeah.
So.
All right. COVID restrictions may harm infants' cognitive development. New study finds. COVID-19 mitigation policies like masks, social distancing, lockdowns, and school
How now, brown cow? The arsonist has oddly shaped feet. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Take 2. COVID-19 mitigation policies like masks, social distancing, lockdowns, and school closures may have harmed the cognitive development of infants.
What a
Verbal,
shock.
nonverbal, and early learning scores dropped among babies who were born during the pandemic, according to a new study from Brown University.
Whoever could have guessed that covering
Yes.
up people's faces constantly when 90% of human communication is done non-verbally with the face.
Mhm.
Whoever could have guessed that maybe that would be a problem for babies. Huh, imagine that. Jack, to answer your question real quick in the chat, he asked where I got my hat. It's from stickthison.com. They're based in Texas. They're super cool. And it's their patch hat. Yeah, they have really good patches. This particular version of this hat is actually one of their prototypes from their first run. I ordered it, and
yours has the full front is the patch panel.
Yep, that's the nice thing about the Stick This On is I can put the big patches that normally like you'd put right in the center of your plate carrier.
Mine just has the 2x3. So I can't wear this patch. This patch is a big one.
See, that's why you need to get you one of these. Let's see.
Plate carrier. I'm in California. I'm not going to say what I have or do not have. Yes. That's a surprise we'll learn about later.
It's a surprise tool that'll help us later.
Quote, we find that children born during the pandemic have significantly reduced verbal, motor, and overall cognitive performance compared to children born pre-pandemic. Results highlight that even in the absence of direct SARS-CoV-2 infection and COVID-19 illness, the environmental changes associated with the COVID-19 pandemic is significantly and negatively affecting infant and child development. Outcomes were worse for males than females, and children in lower social economic households were worse off.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we talked about this at the beginning of the pandemic, right? Like over a year ago, we talked about this where we were like, "Hey, we were talking about the videos where the parents take the mask off and the baby starts crying. The baby starts crying. Never actually seen the face.
Like, oh my god,
what a shock that perhaps that sort of conditioning might cause some sort of cognitive issues."
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the guy said that his wife went into labor. And they went to the hospital, and the hospital made them both take the rapid test. The rapid test both came back for negative for both of them. So they go back. So they have to wear the masks in the hospital. So they go to the room, and she starts to deliver. They made her keep the mask on while she was delivering the child.
When she needs like oxygen and breathing, that whole thing that I never actually.
And according to a nurse or secondhand, right? According to him, he said that he talked to a nurse about it. And if she had tested positive, they would have let her deliver. She would have been isolated. They would have let her deliver. He would not have been able to be in the room. And they would have taken the child and immediately put it in a NICU until she was clean, until she had a negative test for 10 days in a row.
Oh
yeah,
that
that thought occur. Let that thought roll around and think about how much that instant connection is necessary. The instant latching, the immediate.
Oh yeah,
breastfeeding, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and all three of my daughters wound up in the NICU because the Rose is because of the hospital that she was delivered at is retarded and was retarded. They're better now, but they were crap back then. And the twins was because they're twins. They were delivered really, really, really early. So they all wound up in the NICU, but we still even though they were going to the NICU, the skin to skin contact and everything, and even me, I had to take my shirt off and stuff and hold Rose and the twins on my chest and everything. That's really important for that bonding between parent and child. That's absolutely essential. And they're just going to deny that because, you might be a little sick. Motherfuckers, they were sharing blood, so I'm pretty sure that they're not magically going to get sicker.
Yes.
From some skin to skin contact.
Okay, the study has not been peer-reviewed, and it has several limitations. Researchers gathered data on 118 children born in the pandemic and compared the cognitive outcomes to a data set that included 605 kids that were between the ages of 3 months and 3 years in 2011 and 2020. While the pandemic may feel as if it had gone on forever, it's actually only been 20 months, which is not a lot of time for a newborn to develop sufficiently testable skills. Sean Dione, an associate professor at Brown and one of the study's authors, cautioned that the findings should be generalized to all kids. Quote, I think only time will tell if we see prolonged effects or if this is transient and they recover or normalize as they get older, and if it impacts more mature skills like executive functions and social skills.
I have a feeling
hold
it's
on,
going
hold on.
to.
On this note, there was a school in Oregon that
Yeah,
they
we
they
just
they
did we just talked about
we talked about that the other day on the last podcast. There was a school in Oregon that they reopened, right, to in-person schooling, right? They were doing the whole digital thing, Zoom calls and all of the bullshit. So they reopened it to in school, and like the kids were having trouble like getting along. The school was having trouble like keeping kids' attention and all this other stuff. And it got so bad with like fighting and kids just not really jiving with what was going on. And teachers especially not jiving with what was going on, that the vibe was so bad and there were so many problems that they actually closed the school for 3 weeks and went back to virtual learning for that period of time so that they could like ease the kids back into going to school.
Gosh, I really hope that isn't an indicator that perhaps there may be long-term problems from a child going their first year and a half of life without seeing a human face.
Think about, so we've been in this for what, a year and a half, right? 20 months. So like think about a kid like a football player, baseball player, an actress, whatever, student government, journalism major, whatever, going into like the middle of their junior year, right? Looking at colleges, doing all this extracurricular stuff, all this fantastic stuff, and then boom, that's all taken away, and you spend your junior and senior year in virtual learning, all that extracurricular taken away. Like there's no way at all that could have any sort of negative results on their cognitive function or their future outlook
or their self-worth or anything else. Like,
I mean, it's not like we had record number of suicides last year or drug and alcohol abuse last year.
Yeah, drug overdoses
or record
abuse.
numbers of domestic violence or child abuse last year either. Totally, that's just totally a coincidence.
Yeah, it is completely unrelated to the fact that you spent the past year and a half dehumanizing a significant portion of the population. And
not only dehumanizing, but actually like turning humans into monsters.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about like look at the stormtroopers in Star Wars, right? Like the fact that they have that mask thing on, or even Darth Vader, right, where they have the mask thing on, and it's so hard to see anything human about them at all. In fact, like Marines on the South Korean North Korean border, right, that are guarding that, they'll stare, right? They don't wear anything over their faces. They glare at the North Korean soldiers, but the South Koreans, they wear these huge aviator sunglasses and everything else to look as non-human as possible, so that that's more intimidating to the North Korean soldiers. Because the bottom line is, the less somebody looks like a human being, the scarier they are. Like, you don't connect with that person. You don't connect. That's why artificial intelligence is such a push for if people are going to interact with artificial intelligence, that they have the most natural voice possible, that you give them, possibly, if you can, some sort of 3D face that looks like a human face and does human expressions. That's why this is so important, because most humanity, most things there, they happen through our faces. They happen through most human communication is through non-verbal communication, which you're missing out on if you're listening to this rather than watching it, I suppose, which is ironic. But nonetheless,
you don't have to look at these. So
yeah, but you don't have to look at the faces built for radio. So there is that anyway. But although I do have my glorious beard, so there's that. That's the only reason we have the female viewership that we do is
9% according to the Spotify.
Yeah, see, it's my beard. It's all about the beard, man. I'm telling you, it's the beard.
No, but
it's the glorious man mane.
Yeah, it's the non-verbal is a hell of a lot more important than the actual verbal, especially for like that deep connection.
Oh yeah,
right, among people or the mother and child. We talked about delivering delivering your child with a mask on. I mean,
yeah.
there are kids right now who have never interacted with people without wearing a masks.
I mean, and it's fucking insane because it's people who aren't even sick, right? They that are covering their faces. There's the whole
No,
reason,
it's
right?
the
The whole reason that shit like this exists.
it's the supposedly healthy people
Yeah,
that are wearing masks to quote protect the sick.
Yeah, the whole reason that shit like this exists, right, is to conceal your identity so that you look less human at protests. Right, that's the point. That's the point of masks. It's to dehumanize you, to make things harder to connect and whatnot. And that's, again, SWAT teams do that. They wear the balaclavas, to seem less human and more intimidating, and like all of these things
The
throughout
Patriot Front
history.
march in DC yesterday.
Yeah, all of the feds were marching with their
the 200 feds all wearing the exact same thing, the same uniform, the same mask, right? I mean, they looked like, cookie cutter fed bots.
I love my fucking meme that I throw on Twitter. Like I had to make it, and it is the most half-assed thing that I've done in a long time. But my "How do you do, fellow white supremacists" meme, I'm pretty proud of that fucker. Like it's hang on, let me pull that up for our live people who maybe are not on Twitter, so that you guys can see it. Oh, so many memes. There we go. This is the price of being a meme lord, man. You wind up with way too many memes. But that right there.
Poor Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
That is still one of the best meme templates.
I love that. How do you do, fellow kids? That's it. The how do you do, fellow white supremacists? Like, in fact, I don't know if you saw with regards to that, but somebody posted apparently the shields they were carrying are sold to exclusively to like military and police departments and have like a 2 to 3 week lead time, and they're made to the specifications that the department gives them. Like that's how bad these feds are at false flags at this point.
Well, I mean, there was the other ones at the September 19 rally or whatever it was. There's that one picture, and there's like the 5 guys that look like they're wearing a uniform, and they all have a firearm in their pocket.
Yep, they all have a gun in their pocket. They're all in the Ralph Lauren polo shirts. They're all in the exact same shorts, like 511 tactical shorts. They're all dressed identically. They're all wearing the same pair of Oakleys.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I'm sure it's same haircuts, the military style haircuts, very obvious. Like you could not, if you were one of the glowing ghouls from Fallout, you would not have been glowing brighter.
Oh, but yes, cognitive function of kids is not just of kids, but like adults. Like you see the fear. Like you see stories all the time about I got into an elevator and someone wasn't wearing a mask, and then there's a cell phone video, right, of some old person freaking out because the other person in the elevator wasn't wearing a mask.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's a cognitive conditioning of the last 20 months.
Yeah, and that's adults.
You see articles about people walking in the grocery store and getting into a fight with the grocery store employee or the security guard because they mentioned something about the person having to put a mask on.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I understand the legal ramifications there, but I mean, we're talking about like a thin piece of cotton that people fucking vape through.
Yeah, I did that. I fucking did that on the show at the time.
On the show, yeah.
Yeah, I inhaled through the mask and exhaled vape through the mask. Like it is stopping nothing.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very much a cognitive condition, and let's talk about how the media was paid off to hype up COVID. Yeah, duh.
Well, yeah, the media is just the propaganda arm of the government. I mean, we all know it.
don't need to go into that. We know that. Everybody knows that. But
we spent the last 20 months talking about that.
On those lines, hello Olympic size transition. Oregon working to put indoor mask rule into place indefinitely.
Because of course they are, because it's the state of Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon is one of only a handful of states that still have an indoor mask mandate, and now the state is working to make that rule permanent. The Oregon Health Authority convened in a Rules Advisory Committee on Thursday. The Rules Advisory Committee provided feedback on an indoor mask rule. The point of the committee is to suggest what should and shouldn't be included in ruling and discuss the impact it will have on the public. Community stakeholders, including those in the hospitality and faith sectors, joined the meeting. Blah, 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 part of the conversation. Okay. Dr. Paul Cieslik, the medical director for the Communicable Diseases and Immunizations with the Oregon Health Authority, said making the rule permanent doesn't mean it's in place forever.
That's what fucking permanent means.
Quote, permanent means indefinite. It doesn't necessarily mean permanent.
No, indefinite means indefinite.
We can repeal it as well, but we're only allowed to have a temporary rule for 180 days, and anything that goes beyond 180 days, we cannot extend.
Good.
Making the rule permanent allows the state to keep the mandate in place.
Yeah, well, making it permanent doesn't mean for. That's what these people keep doing, though. They keep doing it, and because again, the media is their lapdogs, they keep getting away with it, where they just declare that the words that exist in the English language no longer mean what the words mean.
Not only are they changing the definition of words, but these are unelected bureaucrats.
The people who really rule you.
These are unelected. The Oregon Health Authority is unelected bureaucrats. I just.
Do you remember Squealer from Animal Farm?
Yes.
Where they said he could turn black into white and white into black if you let him talk enough.
Yes.
That's what these people are. This is Animal Farm, man. Like we are living in Animal Farm, and I am looking from pig to man and man to pig, and I definitely haven't been able to tell the difference for some time. And this, like, first of all, permanent doesn't mean forever. That's what it means. That's literally what it means. Yeah.
That's exactly what it means.
That's the meaning of the word. It's, like. But the fact that they're looking to do that, like they're looking to like codify arbitrarily, like by fiat, they're looking to just declare this is now forever.
As if they just go poof.
Yeah, abracadabra. Okay, nope, that's forever now. That's, and it's the same kind of shit that Biden keeps trying to pull, where he keeps trying to just arbitrarily declare, and this mandate, and this mandate. No, that is not how the United States government was supposed to work. Now, practically, that is how it works, but that's not how it was supposed to.
No, it's not.
The president was not supposed to be an emperor. Goodness. And like we laughed, right? We laughed when Trump was in office and he was God Emperor Trump, that everyone was just going to obey. But Biden apparently is taking that to heart.
I have to laugh to keep from Brandenburging.
Oh yeah, I mean, at this point, like,
if this were on a different channel on a different website, I'd be red flag potential, and I don't want to go there.
See, this is why we need a Patreon, right? We need a Patreon so that like you get the full like no filter version of us.
Oh my goodness!
If you pay money, because then you paid the money for that, you dumb son of a bitch. That's on you.
I feel like there's only one place that we can go with this, and we of course it's a New York Times article.
Oh God.
It's behind a paywall, so I'm not doing that one. We're gonna do the RT one. which talks about it.
Hang on.
Hold on.
Where's the? Hang on. We got. I got a patch for this. We got a patch for this.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Okay.
Well, I got a patch for New York anyway. Oh, that isn't centered at all.
We have another New York one later, but the New York Times has identified another culprit on its war on quote misinformation.
Is it them? His last name is Cuomo.
No, hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to. I'm really trying. Okay. Goose from okay, professional Jason.
Yeah, we're so fucking professional.
The New York Times has identified another culprit in the war on quote misinformation, claiming that cute animals featured in viral content help spread the right-wing propaganda and coronavirus conspiracy. In an article titled, quote, "Those cute cats online, they help spread misinformation."
Those goddamn cheeseburgers, they're a bunch of liars.
In an article titled, "Those cute cats online, they help spread misinformation," New York Times technology reporter Davey Alba claimed, quote, "Videos and GIFs of cute animals, usually cats, were being used by people and organizations peddling false information online." Alba listed the U.S. conservative publication Western Journal and the anti-Beijing newspaper The Epoch Times as just a few examples of outlets supposedly using animal content to redirect unsuspecting viewers toward misinformation. You're muted.
Unsuspecting viewers. So like, oh, hey, look at this cute, adorable cat. What? COVID is a lie. Yeah, because that happens.
According to the article, the Epoch Times has featured cute animals in 12,062 social media posts across 103 Facebook pages, with the posts containing links toward the newspaper's more popular content. That's how memes work.
Yeah.
The report received mixed reaction on social media, and critics calling its claims preposterous and an overreaction. Which, yeah,
a little bit. This is the thing, though, right? Like, they went from white supremacy. Everything was white supremacy, which they're still kind of screaming, but they went from everything is white supremacy and everyone's white supremacist who doesn't agree with me to they went from that to misinformation, and they're all just standing there screaming into the void. Misinformation.
No, not only that, but there's a right before we got on, there was an article that I came across from here in my area, and it was a San Francisco Chronicle photographer got robbed of his cameras while doing a report in Oakland. Shit like this is why I don't feel bad when mainstream media reporters get fucked with.
I want you to do your part. Cyberbully journalists at every opportunity.
Yes, hashtag cyberbully journalists.
I love that meme has like taken off. Like, I've had it sent back to me multiple times, even though it's got my watermark on it. I've had it come back to me.
They're not blaming people. They're literally blaming like pictures of cute animals. They're blaming memes for as if it's like some sort of ridiculous conspiracy. Oh my God, he has a cute animal on his profile. I bet he spreads misinformation. It's just
trust me. Please, for the love of God, cyberbully the shit out of journalists. They are piece of shit people who deserve absolutely no respect.
And we're supposed to take these people seriously?
Yeah. It's because they're blatant propagandists.
Here we go. Perfect. See, my son in the chat just pointed out it's Pepe all over again.
Yeah. Or trash dove. Remember the trash dove?
Yes. The floppy dove.
Yeah, the floppy purple pigeon thing. Yeah, that like trash dove. Like this is this kind of shit. And
It's
Like,
not.
remember,
it's not a conspiracy. You're just really that dumb.
Yeah, you just really are that stupid. But you remember, like 4chan straight up said with the trash stuff, we're going to gaslight these idiots into thinking that the OK symbol is white supremacy and that
milk,
the purple
milk.
Milk is a symbol of white supremacy.
They made milk into a white supremacy symbol.
And they did it intentionally, like going, I wonder just how absurd we can make this shit, and these idiots will still run with it. And it turns out there is, in fact, no limit to how blatantly obvious you can make it that you're gaslighting journalists, and journalists will still run with it. And the idiot populace, the useful idiots, will still continue to believe this stuff. And the reason that they're so scared of the whole idea of memes and people looking at memes and learning things from them is because the media doesn't understand memes. They don't get it. They still don't get it. You know, the left can't meme thing is very true. And they don't get it. And so what's happening is they're seeing quick little attention grabbing things suddenly feed truth to people that counteract their lies, and it's freaking them out.
Because, well, first of all, it puts their livelihood literally at risk. Right, because journalism, real journalism, you know, New York Times and all that other shit, it's not quick material, right? A meme, you can only have so many words on a meme before people stop paying attention to it, right?
Yeah, listen to that, leftists. Listen to that.
Goldfish, right? Goldfish mentality.
Right.
You can only have so many words on a meme or on a post before people just stop caring, right? Yeah. Well, that ruins journalism, right? I learn more from memes than I do from reading articles. Like, if I want to read something, I'll go read a book.
Well, and I can guarantee you that whole issue is part of the reason why Facebook is trying to convert to this new like Second Life thing that they're trying to do, is because that way people have to be actively online to share this content, right? They have to be saying it, and they have to, so it makes it easier to track down and easier to shut down than the memes are. And so that's why the weird alien robot that is Mark Zuckerberg is trying to shut down the old website and the old format, because it made sharing information that disagreed with the primary narrative too easy. And he doesn't want that to happen.
Because again, they're all in this together. You know,
yeah.
I mean, they say we're all in this together. I don't have a fucking yacht.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
If you have a yacht or $1 million house, we're not in this together. You're in there. I'm out here.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, like, they're when quarantine was happening, they're in
Brent.
Yeah.
Monkey smart.
Yeah.
He says memes are the most effective way to plant a seed in a few kbs, meaning kilobytes.
You know what? I now want to do a reject modernity, return to tradition one with the Icon has cheeseburger meme, but have Icon has extremist content.
Ooh, yeah. You just said that over the air. Now somebody's going to do it.
Somebody's going to do it, and they're going to take my idea. But you know what? You heard it here first, folks. This was live. So it's my idea.
So, all right, we got one more COVID, and then we'll get off this fucking topic.
New York, I'm so sick of talking about the Szechuan flu.
New York offering lifetime hunting and fishing licenses as a COVID-19 vaccine incentive.
I have a patch for this. They're like my memes, man. It's fucking glorious.
On Wednesday, New York State Governor Kathy Hochul announced an opening of, quote, "Take your shot for an outdoor adventure sweepstakes." Launched by the governor last week, the COVID-19 vaccine incentive is intended to increase vaccination rates among New Yorkers who enjoy the outdoors, meaning the healthy people.
Yeah, the people who actually like are functional members of society. And
during the month of December, anyone who receives the first vaccine dose is eligible to enter the sweepstakes, and a random drawing will win special prize packages tailored to anglers, hunters, and other outdoor enthusiasts. quote, I am ecstatic to open this sweepstakes to encourage all New Yorkers to get vaccinated. The vaccine is our best weapon against the pandemic, and every New Yorker needs to get this vaccine to ensure our great state can continue on its path to recovery.
If your
With
best
this-
weapon doesn't work 99% of the time, you have a shit fucking arsenal.
Yes. And let's see, with this new initiative, if you get your first vaccine dose in December, you could have an added bonus of winning an outdoor adventure in New York's pristine wilderness. I just, yeah, yes, Anarcha Rica. As a New Yorker, I can say screw New York. As a Californian, I completely agree. Screw California.
I have,
Yes.
I have patches for both of you.
Uh,
See, I have two.
Not legal in New York, not legal in California.
Yeah. See, you have enough patches. You buy enough if you're enough of a patch addict.
I have my State of Jefferson patch, but it's on my other hat. I just imagine, if you will, for a second, being an outdoor enthusiast, being a hunter, being a fisher, being able to supplement your family's table with what you harvest from the woods.
Right. Yeah, which as is your fucking right.
It is your right. Now you not only have to get the government's permission to exercise your right to keep from being shot in the face by a twig pig, but now they're offering that license, that right, quote unquote. They're offering that. They're trying to sell you back your right if you give up your right to individual liberty and go get their collectivist shot.
Yeah, remember, whenever the government has a permit, what that is or a license, that is them taking your right to do something and then selling it back to you.
So, yeah, it's let's see. Liz says I'd rather pay the $20 they don't have a right to charge for fishing rather than vaccinate for a free license. Fuck that. Vaccine didn't do much for me, seeing as how I have COVID right now.
Yeah. Liz is fully vaccinated and has COVID currently.
Yeah. It's just it. Oh, and Christopher's in the chat.
Hey. So any of you guys in the chat, one of our normal speakers on the show is currently in the chat. That's Val Hellerkis.
Hey, the link is in the group chat if you want to join, Chris, or not, whichever. But yeah, I mean these that's what this comes down to right now, right? They had a lot of people that were scared, right? The majority of the populace that was scared, that bought into the propaganda and all this good stuff. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that got the shot. Right now, the people that are resisting the shot, the government is using the mandates, right? So they're trying to scare people into getting it by threatening to take away their means of income, and now they're trying to reward people with their liberty of recreation.
Yeah, get the shot. If you're obedient, you can have a little bit of freedom as a treat.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like it's like fuck it's you.
It's the same with like the Vax passports for restaurants and stuff. Like I got rejected from a restaurant a couple of weeks ago. It was my brother's birthday. We went out. We're gonna go out for lunch, and we got rejected from our shit tier semi-Mexican restaurant because we don't have a shot. And that's the other thing they're saying. Oh, go get the shot, and you can go out and be normal again. Motherfucker, I had to wear a mask to walk through the front door to get rejected because I don't have a vaccine passport.
Even if you had the vaccine pass, what is normal about having to get an injection?
Three injections. Yeah,
multiple injections that you don't know exactly what's in, that you can't sue anyone if it has any negative effect on you. Mm-hmm. That was forced through, that you're not allowed to see any science behind it, nothing else. In fact, they want 57 years to even to present all that.
Show me the long-term data, and we can have a discussion about me getting a shot.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I keep saying. Like, look, here's the thing. Like, I am not anti-vaccine, not this vaccine, but other vaccine. I am not anti-vax at all. I'm not.
Nope.
I got all my shots. My kids got all their shots. Plain and simple. I am pro-vax, right? I believe that it works. I understand the science behind it. I've read the science behind it. I get it. But this has no long-term studies. This has no long-term science behind it. And every time somebody goes, but the science seems to not be lining up with what you guys are claiming, they get shouted down as crazy anti-vaxxers on the level of fucking Jenny McCarthy and Jim Carrey. Like, they get shouted down and then told, well, you're anti-truth, you're anti-science. And then you have fucking Dr. Fauci. You have that war criminal motherfucker.
What about the other doctors that saying it's not right, that the science is wrong?
Yeah, they all get fired.
Those truths don't matter. Those truths get kicked off of Facebook and YouTube. And
the one of the developers of the Pfizer vaccine, or no, it was Moderna. Sorry, it's Moderna. One of the developers of the Moderna vaccine. He was one of the people who literally helped develop it. He said on Twitter, well, this article saying that everyone needs to get vaccinated is actually incorrect. Reach herd immunity. You only need like 75 to 80% to be vaccinated. And it really doesn't matter if everybody else isn't.
Which I think currently exists right now.
Yeah, and like that was what he said. He was banned for dangerous misinformation from all social media platforms. And he is one of the men who created the vaccine.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's get off of that. Let's go. I of course, always now, because I like doing it, I have a secret article that I did not put on the list.
Of course.
No, you will like this one. I guarantee it. You will laugh, and the group and the chat will laugh, and we'll have a good time with this one. All right. So this is. I will criticize. Tell me you don't understand how markets work without saying you don't understand how markets work. All right. San Francisco suspends cannabis tax to combat illegal marijuana sales.
It's almost like increasing the price arbitrarily does not allow you to compete with a black market that will exist anyway.
Yes, this is San Francisco suspends cannabis tax to combat illegal marijuana sales.
It's almost, you remember a guy a few years ago, you may have heard of him, who was like selling loose cigarettes tax-free in New York.
And yeah, the cops saw him from 350 feet away on a busy New York street.
Yeah, allegedly, and then murdered him. Yeah, so you're getting where this is going.
San Francisco supervisors on Tuesday unanimously approved an ordinance to suspend the city's cannabis business tax through the end of next year in an attempt to curb illegal marijuana sales. According to Supervisor Raphael Mandelman, the legislator's author suspending the city's business tax through December 31st, 2022 would help support legal cannabis retailers as they struggle to compete with illegally sold cannabis.
I love that they think that if they just have it for like a year, and then put it back.
Hold on.
No, everybody will they won't just go back to their fucking dealers.
San Francisco voters approved the tax in November 2018, which imposed a 1% to 5% citywide tax on gross receipts from cannabis businesses. The tax is set to go into effect January 1st, 2022. So the tax hasn't even gone into effect, and they've already removed it to help it compete against black market sales.
What's the state's tax on marijuana in California?
15%.
15 fucking percent. So this is hilarious because they're under the impression
there's the state tax, and then there's a county tax, and then a city tax. Right? So like here in where I live in Antioch, there is the state tax of 15%, and then there is a Contra Costa County tax, which I think is like 7%, and then the city takes another 3 or 2. It's like 2.5 or whatever. So either way, you're looking at like 25%, right? So you can call up your homie and get an eighth, $20. You go into a legal cannabis dispensary, you have to wear a mask, you have to provide an ID, and you're paying $25 for the same eighth.
Gosh, I can't imagine why anyone would go to the illegal route when it's so reasonable to have an almost 50% markup.
Not only that, but so the legal dispensaries can only buy from the people that have permits to grow. Right? So that's a narrow availability. Right? There's only so much legally grown cannabis out there for the legal markets to buy. Part of the legalization law that went into effect here in California allows the home grower to grow up to 6 plants. Right? 6 plants is a lot of bud.
I was going to say that produces an enormous amount of marijuana. If you have a green thumb, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people that I definitely know who can.
It's 6 plants per adult.
So if you have, I don't know, 4 people, that's 24 plants.
Yes, that's a lot of bud. And it has to be grown inside. It can't be grown outside. It's smell, blah, 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 whatever. Bullshit. But anyway, back to my point. So there's a legal window as to how much legal bud is available for these legal operations to sell. So again, that also increases the price.
So you have an artificially limited
supply chain.
Yes. You have an artificially increased price.
Yes.
And then they're like, well, I mean, I don't know why people are still buying from the illegal vendors.
Yes. But not only that, but because it's so popular now on the black market, it's so popular that it's actually not like $20 an eighth anymore. They have people undercut. I've had people hit me up, $15 an eighth. Right. So there's people trying to undercut other people because the black market is saturated.
So we're going back to like the late 90s market, man. Like that's where we're going back to, like the fucking Wild West. And it's
so
they're mystified every fucking time that they're like, but we gave you a little bit of freedom. All we did is tax the ever loving fuck out of it and throw 30,000 fucking permits on there.
Okay. Now here, this is the tell me you don't understand the market without telling me you don't understand the market statement from Mandelman, who's the he is the, what did I say he was? Supervisor Raphael Mandelman. All right. San Francisco supervisor. Quote, cannabis businesses create good jobs for San Franciscans and provide safe, regulated products to their customers. Sadly, the illegal market is flourishing by undercutting the prices of legal businesses, which is bad for our economy as illegal businesses pay no taxes while subjecting workers to dangerous conditions and consumers to dangerous products. Now is not the time to impose a new tax on small businesses that were already just getting established and trying to compete with illicit operators.
Like, the thing that drives me so nuts about so many of these people is that they conflate what the government is able to steal with the economy.
Yes.
They conflate those two, and they want you, with the way they phrase things, to conflate the two.
Now that it's it creates jobs. The legal market creates jobs. No, the legal market redistributes jobs. Right? It's broken window fallacy. Yeah,
exactly.
Right? So all they're doing is they're taxing people, so that they're taking away from our ability to buy movie tickets, or a new dishwasher or a new refrigerator, or to get that auto repair that we need, or to get that addition built onto the house. So they're taking the money from us that would have gone to that industry, which that industry would have created more jobs in those situations, and given it to these other people to create jobs after running it through the bureaucracy.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing as, right, this is under the same principle as when a lot of these small business stimuluses and things happened, right?
Mhm.
So what happened was the government took a bunch of money from big businesses and small businesses. They took a bunch of money from businesses, and then they ran it through 80 different filters of bureaucracy, each one of them taking a little chunk. And then they took that money and they threw it back to the economy, to legal businesses, and pretended that somehow this was this magnanimous decision, ignoring the fact that every time you filter that money through another level of bureaucracy, it gets, the actual value of that gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
It's just ridiculous. On top of that, just the fact, oh, we're going to remove this 1 to 5% sales tax, and that's going to help you compete against the market, which already has like 20% cheaper than you.
Yeah, it's already cheaper as it is. It already has the exact same quality. It has had the exact same quality all along, because again, where all of these strains, these medical strains came from and these legal strains came from, was the science that was already done by the illegal guys years ago, right? That's where that all came from as it is. So you already have the legal market has done all of your research for you. They're already ahead of you on research. They're already ahead of you on product development. They're already ahead of you on marketing and on connections and customer service and everything else. They're already way fucking ahead of you.
The black market gave rise to the white market.
Yeah.
Right? Not the other way around. There wasn't a white market that already existed, and then people took the black market. No, it was all, people were already doing it, and then the government said, whoa, shit, guess we'll never stop this. Let's legalize it and tax it.
Yeah, because if we tax the living shit out of it, then, I mean, it's the same thing with that you see with a lot of things where government, like with the internet sales tax thing, where like everyone is already doing tons of business. The internet economy was booming. Everybody was doing great. It was fine. It did not need government interference, obviously, because, you know, economies don't need government interference. They can only be a detriment. And then the government had to step in and go, hey, wait a minute, but where's our piece? If you think there is a difference between government and mafia, I got really bad news for you. The only difference between the government and the mob is that the mob actually manages to turn a profit.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
That's it. It's the same thing. It's what taxation is, especially in this instance, is blood money. It's the ruling gang saying, well, we are going to run this trade now.
Yeah,
we
not
run
wrong.
this trade.
Not wrong.
This is our territory. We run this trade, so you're going to give us a cut of your business.
Yeah, not wrong. I mean, the government is they're the ones that permit the legal growth, permit the legal sales, and dole out the punishment if you go outside that white line.
Yeah, it's no different than the mob. It's no different than any other organized criminal organization. And trust me, the government is an organized criminal fucking organization. It's no different than that. It's no different than that. And all that's happening, all that you're seeing here is that they wanted too big a cut of somebody's hustle and realized that it was increasing the price too much. And so people were going to competitors. So they said, okay, well, we'll go ahead and we'll reduce a little bit and hope that that then competes with our competitors. The reality is it won't. They're going
to cut the sales tax, or they're going to cut the cannabis tax, which even with cutting it, it's still already higher than the black market. So people still aren't going to use it.
Well, right, because again, that's why I wanted to know what the state tax was, because I'm like, but the state, California taxes it so hard.
They're pissing into the wind.
Yeah,
they're literally pissing into the wind and complaining that they're getting wet.
Yeah, there is no fucking difference No fucking difference between them having the county tax and them not having the county tax or the city tax.
City tax.
Because the state still has this massive fucking tax.
Yep.
And I mean, and don't get me wrong, I think the state of Oregon and Washington suck fucking balls. They're authoritarian piles of shit. But at least the state of Oregon understood that if you tax this shit too heavily, everyone's just going to go back to the black market.
Yeah, Oregon had the opposite problem. Oregon gave legal license to too many people, and the legal market was completely flooded to the point where the price dumped, where the price tanked. So,
well, and that's exactly it. It's
right here,
an endless thing. Yeah,
Smart Monkey said, similar to how all the bootleggers during Prohibition invested in liquor companies and negotiated the use of their existing distribution networks, so after Prohibition, companies can make the bank. And it's funny you bring that up, because today is December 5th, which is the anniversary of the 21st Amendment, which repealed the prohibition on alcohol.
Cheers, motherfuckers!
I think today's the 83rd, something like that.
Well,
I think it was 1933 it was repealed.
Well, and Prohibition obviously is a passion of mine. I mean, if you haven't seen my sleeve there, Prohibition's a little bit of a passion of mine. Just maybe. But
hashtag Saint Popcorn.
Yeah. So I have my shirt just over there. I have a shirt that is it's got Popcorn Sutton, whose niece, by the way, I went to high school with. And it says disobey across it, and it's Popcorn flipping off the camera. It's a beautiful fucking thing. But that's the Prohibition was this, again, it's this example of the road to hell being paved with good intentions, where people honestly believed that they could legislate morality and that they could force people into doing this, and they ignored the fact that as long as there is a market, there will be a supply. And so what happened is, just like with drugs, they threw all of the power, all of the money and everything into the hands of people who were already willing to break the law anyway.
Right. And not only that, but just like with Prohibition, the government restriction of this product, like alcohol or like cannabis, creates a highly volatile and profitable black market, which people will fight over, because the legal option, you got taxes and all the other bullshit people don't want to go through.
We even we even saw that during World War I and World War II with supplies of really basic things like gasoline and sugar and nylon and stuff that was heavily regulated during the war because it was considered war materials. And all of a sudden, it was so heavily regulated, taxed, and everything else that this enormous black market sprung up for everyday household goods.
Oh,
Chris is online.
Hey. Liz says, hey, and she has 4 Ys after that, which
3 E's and 4 Ys.
4 E's and 4 Ys.
Apparently, she likes me.
That's what I was thinking.
Apparently,
no.
She don't like you anymore, Andrew.
No.
Andrew's out. Chris is in.
She'll still be at my place on Christmas.
That's fair. I got a full house.
That's fine. That's fine. Chris has a full house.
I got a full house. She can come to my house for New Year's if nothing else.
Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble.
So am I, especially if Amber watches this.
So, but it's a good thing. It's a good place to transition. We got Chris here now. We talked about California, Oregon, Washington. We talked about New York earlier, how bad they are. Fantastic article from Yahoo of all places. This is an original Yahoo article, right? It's not a repost.
Huh.
A new reason to move. Politics.
That's a new reason?
A new reason?
Apparently it is now.
Whoever would have thought that maybe people might move because of politics? What a novel idea.
Oh, I'll help.
People have only been threatening,
I was
going to say, people have only, threatened to change countries since, based on who wins the presidency since what? Forever?
Strategic relocation is a thing. We talked about it a lot in the Vonnie podcast. Country shopping and flags of convenience and all this other stuff.
But, have you ever heard of refugees?
Yeah. It's also referred to as escapism. So, but blue states will get bluer and red redder in coming years as more Americans factor political issues into the relocation decision and head for places with like-minded tribes. That's the forecast from real estate brokerage Redfin, which includes, quote, more migration for political reasons and its outlook for the housing market in 2022. The deepening political polarization of the country includes new city and statewide laws likely to attract adherents and repeal detractors, driving political issues deep into community life. Texas this year passed the nation's strictest anti-abortion law, for instance. A Mississippi anti-abortion law could lead to the Supreme Court of the overturn of 1973 Roe versus Wade decision that could make abortion legal everywhere. And the Supreme Court overturns it. Roe will once again be free to set their own abortion statutes, creating a drastically divided between permissive and restrictive states.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It all falls back as far as I'm concerned. There must be a state, it goes to the 10th Amendment. There's nowhere in the magic parchment that says that the federal government has any control over this shit.
So, yeah. Another Supreme Court case involving gun rights can make it easier to conceal carry weapons in New York and 7 other states, eroding gun control efforts propagated largely by Democratic governors and mayors. On the other hand, marijuana is now legal in 19 mostly blue and purple states. Cities such as Philadelphia, San Francisco, and New York are experimenting with police reform meant to cut down on lower-level arrest. Public school curricula is another.
I love the experimenting with police reform.
Public school curricula is another flashpoint between parents who want racial and social justice taught in schools and traditionalists who feel threatened by wokeness.
Well, everyone should feel threatened by wokeness.
Give me one more paragraph. The COVID pandemic led to sharp disparities in masking rules, school opening policies, and business restrictions among states and cities. That's on top of long-standing differences in regulations and taxation between traditionally Democratic and Republican states. While there's nothing new about regional differences in governing styles, policy polarization making it easier for Americans to live in areas they find ideologically compatible. It's also getting harder to find, or for liberals to find, comfortable enclave in conservative states and vice versa. Oh, okay, that was too much to read. But escapism, right? Escapism it's not new. Look at New Hampshire with the Free State Project.
Right? Oh yeah, that's been a big thing for what, probably 25 years.
1996, I want to say, is when they first came up with the idea. And then I think it kicked off. I want to say it kicked off in 2006. Is when they first
15
started.
Years. It's actually
when they started doing it up there. But it's a long running joke that California's greatest import is business.
Oh yeah,
right?
There's not anymore.
There's several. There's 4 or 5 really great ways to escape California. It's I-5, 50, 80, and I-10. So
I'd move to Jupiter if the tech existed.
And that's the thing is.
Brett said, I moved to Texas from Montana. Andrew and I are both huge fans of Montana.
Oh yeah, huge. I'm a huge
the Redoubt area, bro.
Yeah.
Like I would take my kids and move tomorrow if I had the money, if I could.
Oh yeah, the Redoubt is where I got my eyes set on, man. Like it's perfect. Well, not perfect, but it's getting there very quickly. It's heading the direction that I want it to head.
Montana governor. I follow him on Twitter. He is fucking based. It's fantastic. He's a good follow. But he banned CRT. He banned vaccine passports. He banned the vaccine mandates. He essentially told Joe Biden, "Fuck off. The National Guard is not going anywhere." He's a supporter of Defend the Guard. Constitutional carry, low taxes. Bro, like Montana is perfect right now.
Brett.
It's as close to perfect as you're going to get.
Brett, to answer your question, this is actually a ZPAP. So this is actually the it would have been Yugoslavian, Serbian now version of an AKM.
Yes.
So it's not quite an AKM, but they're the weird,
That's enough.
the weird Serbian quirks, but it's close.
Yes. Anarchy said I'd move to Jupiter if the tech existed. We have a running joke about opening a
brothel on Mars.
Yeah,
I wasn't going
to use the word brothel, but yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I was going to say fun house.
Martian whorehouse.
I was going to say adult fun house.
We just need to find a chick with the 3 boobs so we can do the Total Recall thing, man.
What was that dad joke earlier? I met a girl with 12 breasts, and it said something to the effect of "doesn't it?"
Yeah, well that's kind of crazy. Or that blows your mind. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said perhaps it's a booby trap.
Yes. But strategic relocation, right? This is something that we talked about. Shannon and I talked about a lot on the Vonnie podcast, which was the podcast making you invulnerable to coercion, or helping make you invulnerable to coercion. And one of the ideas, strategic relocation, was basically moving where there's freedom. This is a new idea now that a lot of people are really getting into, with like Florida and Texas.
Well,
and their anti-COVID stances. Montana, South Dakota, Iowa with their vaccine statuses, and California, like people are moving to Texas to get away from California, and blue people in like Austin, Texas, are moving to California to get away from Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
but I mean,
and all
Texas
of it kind of boils. All of it boils down to the reality that balkanization is the answer right now, right? Like ideally full balkanization, full independence down to the individual is the ideal, but balkanization is the reasonable goal in the near future.
Well, yeah, there's that other article. It's there's 11 specific cultures in the United States, right? Not that ethno state bullshit, but like actual like political and like moral and value based cultures in the United States. There's like 11 distinctly different ones, but we're all still governed by one, 535 people in Washington D.C.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right, but it's been kind of fun to watch the numbers in places like California and New York drop, because even a lot of the people in blue states are going, I don't want to fucking go there.
Yep.
Yeah, I went this route because it always gets better.
Oh, we have another one that's next, so that'll be a good one.
But well, actually, off topic, I was wearing this patch yesterday when my differential blew up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it got better.
It got better, a la Jason style.
Yeah, Jason, he already pulled that on me earlier today, with the way it gets better. But I mean the whole idea of balkanization, I was saying, is like that idea that you separate, right? You have these dramatically different political locations. You go from what the United States is under the Constitution, fuck you Federalists, to what the United States kind of was supposed to be under the Articles of Confederation. And you go back to that, and then you work from there, because once that's established, well, now it's easy enough to go towards like kind of what the European Union is, and then go from there to something a little more, maybe, I don't know, like Europe was before the Shenzhen zone,
Yeah, it's like why do you want to live where people don't share the same values as you?
Yeah, why would you want to do that?
Or like, I've heard a lot of people say, why would I want to share a country with people who want to kill me?
Yes, which is a very realistic policy.
Yes, especially right now when you're looking at, I get a lot of people that have kind of trickled into libertarianism and anarchism that are now looking around and seeing, lefties actually say they want to kill the evil Republicans and Republicans.
Like California, Texas, and Colorado are in the same country, right? California's vote, right? The federal California vote affects Texas and Colorado. Colorado's federal votes affect Texas and California, right? And all the way around.
Yep.
They're three completely different. First off, they're three completely different cultures, right? They're completely different economies. They're completely different political on the political spectrums. But they're still governed the same way by the same people.
Yeah, and that it doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And Brett, this is an M70, by the way. So
no,
same thing.
No. Anarchy, not anarchists want to kill people. It's the anarchists are starting to see how those in the duopoly want to kill one another.
Yeah, but
the anarchists just want to be left alone. Like that's what we want.
We just want to be
like,
left the hell alone.
Yeah, we just want to be left alone. We just want everybody else to go away and everybody else to leave us alone. And we just want to live our fucking lives. And what we want is we want a separation where people want to, they want to live the way that they want to live. And I think that we should be breaking things up to where you can go to a group, you can go live in a location where everyone else is like-minded. Like, doesn't that make more sense where you can have these huge differences? Because you can't tell me, like, Valhalicus and I, we live in Wisconsin, right? And the general values of Wisconsin up until fairly recently, historically, as people from California and Illinois and shit start migrating here because the economy is better because they destroyed their state and then they want to destroy ours too.
Not me. I didn't vote for that shit.
The funny thing is many of those from California that came to Wisconsin went back to California because they just couldn't hack the winters.
Well, yeah, because our winters make you have to be made of tougher stuff. But Wisconsin has a very different set of values, right, than say New York does, or California.
You don't even have to go to New York. Go straight south. Go to Illinois.
Our Mexico. Illinois is Wisconsin's Mexico, and you'll never convince me different. You go to Mexico of Wisconsin, right? You go to Illinois, and you find yourself in a place where all of the values are different. And even within the state of Illinois, right? If Illinois is a very long state, if you go to Northern Illinois, that is very much a Midwestern mentality, a lot of it, right? Because the Windy City, right? Chicago, they get a lot of the same. I mean, you can go from Chicago to Milwaukee to Fond du Lac all the way up to Fond du Lac, and you can go through all just nothing but town there. And they're all very similar. It's similar weather, everything else. But once you cross a certain point in Illinois,
I'd say once you get south of like Bloomington, Normal.
Yeah, you wind up you hear Southern accents. It's Southern. I picked up my Porsche 944 in Centralia, right? Centralia, Illinois, which was coal mining country, by the way, in coal mining country in Centralia, Illinois. So Southern accents, coal mining country. And that's in the same state as Chicago?
I'm in the same state as Los Angeles.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
San Francisco. Like you can go north. I can go north for an hour, and it's pickup trucks and country music and cowboy boots.
Well, if you were to take just the state of Wisconsin and draw a line about 15 miles north of Dane County, which is where Madison is, the state capital, draw a line all the way across the state. Everything south of that would identify a lot closer to Northern Illinois and Chicago than it would to everything north of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, most states, right? They're even within the state. You all live in states where if you've traveled it, that there are chunks of that state that have nothing to do with the rest of the state. In Illinois, right? In Illinois, you have that difference, but even across the river in Iowa, if you go to the Quad Cities, that's one mentality that is entirely unrelated.
Who the hell said anything about Iowa, Brett?
To northwestern Iowa.
But Iowa, my buddy Josh Smith, Break the Cycle. He moved from like 5 miles east of me. He moved from there, got on a plane like, I think he said it was like 12 or like 11:35 the night before, and the California shutdowns happened at midnight. So he hopped on a plane like a half hour before the California shutdowns initiated, moved to Iowa for a girl. Now they got kids and all the other stuff, but like Iowa is the quiet one. Like they had a mask mandate for about a month, and they had the schools shut down for about a month.
Yeah.
And then that ended.
Well, in Iowa, the cows outnumber the people by a fairly significant margin.
I think it's 4-1.
Yes, you gotta like corn, and you have to like ranch dressing to live in Iowa.
Well,
you have to like
to be
ranch
fair, ranch
dressing to live in
that's a thing in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin too. Yeah.
That's just a northern Midwestern thing, man. Like
and
that's
I'm pretty
we're
sure the cows outnumber the people in Wisconsin too by a fairly wide margin.
Yeah, but I mean, I lived in Cuba City, Wisconsin, which is real close to Dubuque, Iowa. Like I worked in Dubuque at the time and stuff. But the weird thing was there's Dubuque and East Dubuque, right? So there's Dubuque, Iowa, and there's East Dubuque, which is in Illinois. And the difference between the two could not have been more stark. Now, don't get me wrong, Dubuque is still a rundown pile of shit. But East Dubuque is an Illinois rundown piece of shit.
Well, I remember when
it's funny you say that. Hold on. I got a quick story. Funny you say that. I live in Antioch. Right next to me is Pittsburgh. Right next to that is a city named Bay Point. Bay Point's just a tiny little shithole town. But it used to be called West Pittsburgh, right? And Pittsburgh had really, really bad crime. And the city council of West Pittsburgh voted to change the name, and they put it up to the voters to change the name from West Pittsburgh because they didn't want to be associated with Pittsburgh. So they changed it from West Pittsburgh to Bay Point. Now Bay Point has more crime than Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, but
what I was going to say, Andrew's talking about Dubuque and East Dubuque. I used to live down in the Parade of Sheen area.
Is there a Rebuke?
Not far from there. Oh God.
Well, you should review Dubuque if you ever go there. Like, God.
It would not hurt anybody's feelings if the New Madrid fault caused Dubuque to fall into the Mississippi. Just gone.
We can tribute the New Madrid and the San Andreas at the same time.
We couldn't get that lucky.
That would be amazing. The New Madrid fault line, to anybody who isn't from the Midwest, runs right underneath the Mississippi. It's the one that caused all the sand blows in the Mississippi to run backwards for a while.
Yes.
It occasionally causes earthquakes in Wisconsin because, fun fact to the rest of the world, Wisconsin gets earthquakes too. On top of our tornadoes and our horrific blizzards.
Going back to the East Dubuque thing, I remember driving through there one day, and we were heading back home from Arkansas, and we went up that way. Going through East Dubuque at 2:00 in the morning, I hear bang, bang, bang. I'm like, we're just gonna press the accelerator.
Right, but that's my point. Is like, you can't tell me that those two towns should even have the same name. No. Let alone like be in the same country. The mentality is so different between even just two towns that are separated by a river that has multiple bridges. That the idea that you would want Iowa, which is super rural, super agrarian, the home of John Deere, it's cornfields and cows, and that's the majority of Iowa. You want that in the same country and ruled by the same kind of laws as
it's hog shit and chicken shit there, Andrew.
Brett Norman. Yeah, I agree. I've dated a few girls from Iowa. I'm not proud of it. But you want that to be governed by the same laws as New Orleans, as Los Angeles, as New York City, as Atlantic
Great
City,
Falls, Montana, as Seattle, as New York City, as
Cody, Wyoming,
as Orville, California, who just declared themselves a constitutional republic.
Yeah, you really want
to throw that into perspective as Mobile, Bama.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. None of that makes sense. So if you can break that into if you can balkanize that, you can break that into chunks, right? Now you have separate locations that have completely differing laws that are amenable to the people in the area. And that is one step closer to then going, okay, well, now I want individual communities within that state
Yes.
to be able to break up. And now I want individuals within those communities.
Yeah, there was a
break up.
I said something to the effect. There was a post on Twitter. Somebody said something to the effect of, "If Roe versus Wade is overturned, the blue state should secede." And I said, "Absolutely, absolutely."
Sure thing.
And the red
Please do.
and the red cities in those states should succeed, or the red counties in those states should succeed.
Yeah.
And then the blue
let's do
cities
that.
should secede from those counties. And,
And
then the
then the
red
red-
neighborhoods should recede from those blue cities,
all the way down
right?
to the red people and the blue people.
Yep.
The reality is that you are never going to achieve, like, this is, and I hate to use the term pragmatism, but pragmatically, you are never going to go overnight from the federal government of the United States to independent freedom. That's not going to happen, right?
No.
You're never going to do that. So what you need to do is you need to focus on, let's break it up, make it smaller chunks and smaller chunks and smaller chunks. And if we can get to the point where we have individual cities governing themselves independently of anyone else around them, getting individuals to govern themselves is awful easy. That's super simple.
Yeah.
To do that at that point,
yeah,
but you have to start somewhere.
Not only that, but like, again, going back to this article, the strategic relocation, right? Like, as much as people don't like to say it, right? You know, the Free State Project is working, right? And it's fantastic. I'm happy that it's working up there. However, that won't work in California. Their model won't work in California. It probably won't work in Texas or Florida either.
No,
right?
It won't, because there's not enough people. I mean, the whole point of the Free State Project, right, was to get enough people. Imagine willingly living in Alabama. I would rather not. I have enough nightmares, thanks. But
Andrew still has nightmares about getting thrown out of Georgia.
Yeah, I'm still banned from the state of Georgia.
Yeah,
well, I might be banned. I don't know, but I was kicked out of the state of Georgia. But anyway, by court order.
But yeah,
but
and,
I mean,
and again, because that won't work here in California. If I have the means or the ability, why would I stay in California?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I value freedom. I value firearms. I value individual choice. Personal liberty and autonomy. California is a terrible fucking place for those things.
Should we start a GoFundMe to get Jason out of California?
It would cost a lot because I'd have to take my whole family with me.
I mean, it would be super expensive. We could potentially start a GoFundMe, though. I mean, hey, Lindsay and I are always like, hey, if you just want a break, you can swing out here, man.
I tried selling feet pics, and nobody's buying them. Sorry.
I mean, do I need to start an OnlyFans with my girlfriends?
Only beards.
We'll start an OnlyFans.
Only beards.
Beards. Yes. It'll just be sexy pictures of my beard.
It's just you brushing your beard.
Yeah, and the oil. We'll pour some oil on there.
Jason, if you want to make money on those feet pics, you need to get a hold of Rex Ryan somehow.
No, that's the last person I want.
No one wants to get a hold of Rex.
All right, let's jump on this last article. Speaking of reasons for strategic relocation. New York City Mayor-elect Eric Adams promotes stop and frisk after latest shooting that wounded 2 officers. New York City Mayor-elect Eric Adams reiterated support for, quote, stop and frisk in a new op-ed piece published Sunday, reacting to this week's Thanksgiving Eve shooting that wounded 2 police officers. Adams, who will be the city's second black mayor, praised the, quote, professional conduct of the NYPD officers handling the suspect, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, but open fire. Okay,
professional conduct because they didn't fucking shoot him?
Yes.
Which is actually a statistical oddity for the NYPD.
They didn't shoot anybody, regardless of color.
Yeah. But Vasquez opened fire, shot in the arm. Jacobs returned fire and threat was neutralized. Blah blah blah. Adams wrote in an op-ed for the New York Daily News, quote, "Yet there are some in our city who would say that these officers never have confronted Vasquez, that he never should have been stopped and questioned." Adams rejected his opponent's calls to, quote, in Stop and Frisk Forever, making the distinction in the op-ed that the tactic, quote, stop, question, and frisk must be reinstated because it can actually help reduce crime, quote, without infringing on personal liberties and human rights.
By definition, it infringes on your human fucking rights.
Hold on, quote, in fact, as American courts have affirmed over the many years, stop, question, and frisk is perfectly legal, appropriate, and constitutional tool when used smartly as opposed to indiscriminately against hundreds of thousands of young black and brown men, as it has been for years in New York City. Not only that, but is a necessary tool whereby police approach someone who fits a witness description or otherwise appears to be carrying an illegal weapon.
Yes. As the founding fathers so wonderfully and notably supported.
Hold on, one more. Quote, the question was never whether stop, question, or frisk should be allowed. It was how it should be done. Those who claimed it should be outlawed entirely reduced a nuanced issue to an either-or argument and unwisely answered it with a blanket ban.
Nuanced. I don't think there's a fucking nuance about a bunch of armed individuals stopping me arbitrarily on the street and demanding to know where I'm fucking going.
Stop and frisk is constitutional if they appear to be carrying a illegal weapon.
How would you determine that it's illegal, especially considering
there's no illegal weapons?
Yeah, especially considering that the Supreme Court. Yeah, especially considering
the bearing of a firearm cannot be illegal if you're going by constitutional grounds.
Well, not only that, but even the Supreme Court, like even if you go by the state's own laws, right, and their own bullshit, according to the Supreme Court, the presence of a weapon does not grant a reasonable belief that a crime has been committed. This has been ruled twice. I know of.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Now, I could see in the city of New York, though, them making the argument that the presence of a weapon does insinuate the fact that there's a crime afoot. And the reason being is it's practically impossible to get a permit or any other legal way to carry a weapon in New York.
Yeah.
That would be their argument, is they have effectively made it illegal to carry weapons,
which is what's in court right now. That the FPC is fighting for. Go FPC!
Stop, question, and frisk sounds like the start of a bad porn.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does sound like the beginning.
Are there good porns?
Well, yeah.
There's no 9/11 themed porn yet, so there are no good porns.
Okay, so I have a mission.
Hold on. Let's continue with this article.
Anyway,
let's stay on.
Okay. But my point is like, first of all, yes, it's so constitutional because that's definitely in the spirit of the Bill of Rights and the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Second Amendment, that the mere presence of a weapon means, well, you know what? We're going to go ahead and stop you and frisk you. We're going to sexually molest you.
It's stop, question, and frisk.
Oh yes, we're going to demand that you answer our questions.
We're going to suspend your ability to freely travel. We're going to violate your Fourth Amendment and possibly your Fifth, in order to determine if we can violate your Second.
You know,
it's only 4 out of 5. I mean, it
wasn't that long ago.
Right?
That
if they beat you up, don't they violate your Sixth?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, as long as we're going for, it's.
No, I was going to say, it wasn't that long ago I had an interaction with law enforcement where I was just walking down the street and I had my 10 millimeter on the outside of my waistband because I carry it with me when I go hunting. And he started asking me a bunch of questions, and my response to every question was, lick my balls.
I have the ligama variant.
Yeah. The last time I got pulled over, I had a cop actually ask me, do you know why I'm standing here? I said, because you got all C's in high school.
Because you couldn't cut it as a college football player?
Yeah, and he just glared at me, and I'm like,
because
what?
you were a pogue and decided
Yeah.
this was the best thing to do.
Because you're a pogue ass motherfucker who just couldn't fucking hack it with the real fucking pipe hitters. Yeah. No, it's.
They hate that, by the way.
Oh yeah, they are.
Okay.
They
All
are
right.
not
Okay. Hold
fans.
on.
But
As-
no, hang
hold
on. The entire idea that somebody in government will just declare, oh no, I think it's constitutional. I don't think anyone has ever debated whether or not it's okay. Again, with the squealer thing, like they just want to try and just declare that history doesn't exist, that things that have happened do not exist. They want to pretend, they want to ignore that everyone, I mean, even statists have gone, I don't think that's constitutional. Even they have debated that.
You guys know I have one more quote, right?
If you say hold on, it gets better.
Quote, the question should not be whether or not police are allowed to confront suspects. It should be how we train them. The question should not be whether we have police. It should be how we use them. The question should not be whether judges should have the ability to protect New Yorkers from violent offenders. It should be how we let them.
No, confront me, motherfucker.
Please.
Let's do this.
It's just this guy is so fucking jackboot. He is so fucking.
These guys are all.
This is on par with Bloomberg saying that I have the 7th largest army in the world or something like that, right? Referring to the NYPD. Like, oh my fucking god! This. I would bet money that this guy has a blue line tattoo somewhere.
Oh, guaranteed. Do you know what the largest army, if it wanted to be an army in the world, is?
Privately armed Americans.
Privately armed Americans. We are the largest army in the world by a significant margin.
Did you guys see that DeSantis was looking to reinstitute the Florida Guard?
Hell yeah, that's almost enough to make me want to move to Florida. The thing that stops me is
strategic relocation.
Florida.
Strategic relocation, I'm telling you.
Yeah, the thing that stops me from moving to Florida are people in Florida.
No, I can handle people in Florida. It's the hurricanes for me. I
can deal with natural disasters. It's mostly Florida, man.
Well, think about it this way. If you were down there, you'd be able to do Florida Man of the Week a lot easier.
Well, I mean, yeah,
he would be Florida Man of the Week half the time.
That's true.
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I have
Florida Man arrested for wrangling alligator at mini golf course.
Florida.
They're delicious. What do you want?
Florida Man arrested for attempting to impregnate alligator.
Hey, I'm not that weird. All right. I'm not that weird. I keep it to human beings.
Hey, have you tried it? No? Then you don't know yet.
Well, I know. No, it's
for him. It's the teeth. He doesn't like teeth.
Alligators are delicious, man. If you've never had fried alligator, you're missing
alligator
out.
is delicious.
I'm just telling you.
But have you hit one with a car?
I haven't, thankfully. I've
never, motherfucker.
I did almost hit one with a car. I was actually visiting not the Kennedy Space Center, but the backup one, right? That's in Louisiana, because they had that backup location.
Yeah.
I was visiting that, and I was leaving, and as I was driving, there's the largest fucking alligator I've ever seen just laying in the middle of the road, and I stop, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't understand. Dude, I grew up in Ireland and I live in Wisconsin. I don't know anything about alligators.
You put it in the back of the car and you take it to the shelter like you do a cat or a dog.
It's a rescue. No,
it's a rescue. The way his nose is, I think he's part Doberman.
Yeah, I had no, like, I'm like, what do I do?
If you look at the teeth, he's more pug though.
Well, a couple of my friends are like, dude, just go around it. And I'm like, it's taking up the entire road. Where am I going to go? Through the fucking swamp? No, I can't go around this fucking thing. It needs to move. And it just kept looking at me like, fucking try it, bitch. And I appreciate the attitude of that alligator that facing a 3,500-pound death machine. It still was like, fucking try it, bitch. Like,
well, I mean, you did just roll up on a dinosaur, technically. I mean,
but we should all aspire to be that alligator, to look at it and go, go, fucking try it.
I'm putting that out there. If the people in New York had their own pet alligators and they were walking them on the street, cops would be a lot less apt to stop question and frisk.
You'd be like, "Oh, you want to ask me questions? Okay, all right, alligator," and just you can't charge him with a deadly weapon. It's an animal.
I often wonder if
you got pocket sand, pocket alligator.
I was just going there.
Yeah,
I was just fucking going there.
Sand. But the important thing is to mix the pocket sand with pocket glitter, so that not only are they blind, but they are permanently sparkly.
I was gonna say, I mean, technically they will shoot you if you try to use like pepper spray on them.
Now I want a pet alligator and I want to name it Bubbles. All right, let's
Jesus. The whole thing with New York stop and frisk, like, it has been inexplicably controversial
for decades.
Decades.
Yeah.
And I say inexplicably controversial because I don't feel that should actually be controversial. I don't think that it should be controversial, that it is wrong for armed individuals to stop, peaceful people and then demand that they answer for everything. I grew up in Ireland, right? And in Ireland, they might purr. I don't know that.
They do purr.
I have so many questions, Scott.
There are animals that I know that purr. Roadrunners purr. Cats purr. Weirdly, gorillas purr. But I don't think I've ever heard that gators purr until now.
I pet a gator when I was in Orlando, and yes, it purred.
Okay, that's weird. Pet my gator sounds very euphemistic.
No, not my gator, a gator.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sure your gator.
Pet my gator sounds like the start of a bad porno. Also,
yeah, it's
yeah.
You pet my gator. But the
I just ate a clam. Sorry.
All right, let's get this wrapped up.
No, what I was going to say though is
myself.
I grew up in Ireland, right? And I grew up moving to certain places where we have walled-in districts within the city, and it's right on the borders. So you have walled-in districts that separate Catholic districts from Protestant districts, and if you're moving along those, the Garda has the ability, and the RUC, RIC, if you are moving along there, to simply stop you.
Mm-hmm.
And they will demand to know, where are you coming from? Where are you going? Who were you with? Who are you meeting? What are you, what kind of identification do you have? Where do you work? Who do you know? Who's your dad? Who's your mom? They will ask you all those questions, and they have the ability to, because in Ireland you do not have constitutional protections at all. Right. And the sad reality is, although ostensibly on paper you have those constitutional protections in the United States, you don't actually. But I grew up with stop and frisk. I grew up with that idea that I could be stopped at any time and be asked and had to have an answer. And if you didn't have an answer, they'd hate you. They had no problem. I mean, I was, I think, 9 or 10 years old the first time that I got punched in the gut by a member of the constabulary. So, like, I know what that's like. I know what it's like to deal with that everywhere you go. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, that happens. And it's extremely prohibitive, like, to know that no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing, you're always going to be stopped. You always risk getting stopped. You always risk getting interrogated. And anyone who goes, oh, that's in the spirit of the Constitution is full of shit. No, it's not. That even the Constitution that isn't in the spirit of, because you're not supposed to have to, Americans were never supposed to have to worry about that and worry about that constant thing.
Again, gives even another little, another little check mark in the column of strategic relocation and balkanization and all this other stuff. Like New York City should not be a part of New York.
No,
right. New York City is a different culture than New York, than upstate New York.
Well, you'd say the same thing like we were talking about with Illinois and
Chicago. And California. We tried that with state of Jefferson, right? Yep. Oregon and Washington, and even Idaho's getting bad now with Boise and all their bullshit. So
hell, Utah's getting bad with Salt Lake City versus the rest of Utah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and the same could be said for Colorado, because you got Denver and Colorado Springs that are shitholes. Yep. And then you've got the rest of the state that's actually pretty nice. And then, I mean, I'm saying what far western Montana, not Missoula. Missoula's kind of out there.
Yeah, Butte West. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, hell, I've considered packing up and moving to the Dakotas, but god damn it, I like, hills.
That's why you moved to Wyoming, man. Like I keep thinking about, like, Cody looks ever better. If I could actually get a job at the Cody Firearms Museum, if like Danny it ever actually listens to this particular episode, I know he's listened to previous ones. If Danny wants to listen to this one, dude, hire me, for the love of God. Like, just find me a job. I don't care what it is anymore. Like,
I'll sweep the fucking floors.
Yeah, like just hire me, man. Like, I would love to work for the Cody Firearms Museum. It is absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. And
shout out to Control Pew for having 3D printed firearms in the Cody Museum.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and and the curators of that museum, Danny and Ashley, Ashley's curator emeritus now and stuff, but they're super cool. They're really cool people, and like, I'd love to work for that, and I'd love to live in hills and in mountains and in that beautiful location. And because of the politics, I want to even more.
I used to have this like running joke, and I still say it on occasion, but it's like, I would much rather have to worry about bears getting in my trash can than a tweaker.
Yeah.
Right. Amen. I have to worry about tweakers right now.
I live in a town of 1,500 people. I sometimes have to worry about tweakers.
So yes. So on that note, let's get out of here.
All right, cool. We still doing promos, or we just relying on the thing?
We got the ticker.
We got the ticker. Just give a quick shout out.
Yeah. So check out thebeardstruggle.com. Use code Anarchist15. Get 15% off of your order. Care for your beard like a Viking. They have great scents, great stuff. Use it. Love it. It's fantastic. Also, make sure that you check out Derica's book, Think for Yourself, and buy that on Amazon. Check out Poppin's Patches. Our boy Dave is super fantastic. He gave me a patch to give away, and no one's won it yet because no one's followed the directions yet again, because you guys are a bunch of anarchists and don't want to follow directions. Also, check out Boog Boogie 79.
Poppin's Patches. In a world full of Karens, be a Chad.
Be a Chad. Yep.
Amen. Yes. And check out Boog Boogie 79 on Twitter. He makes some super cool stuff, including some awesome patches. He also makes this glorious flag that I have. That's the Boog Unity flag. He makes, whatever, it doesn't really matter. He also makes this beautiful gator that he also sent me, as well as a patch and a number of patches. I'm waiting on my Wisconsin Boogaloo flag to show up. Check him out as well. Do we have anything else? Did we cover everybody?
Don't be afraid, or go if you're on Twitter, go out there and follow Phoenix Ammunition. Those guys are phenomenal.
Yeah, that's that's FENIX.
Yes, Ammunition. They're great. They're the ones who destroyed Christopher Titus and made him make his page private.
Phenomenal.
He still hasn't changed his phone number, by the way. Last I checked, as of a couple of days ago. So that was a glorious thing. And be sure to bully your local leftists.
I was going to say, and for anybody who was unaware of this fact, a while ago we had Trashman, Oldman, and Magnus on. And the whole reason that episode happened is because one of the people that works for Phoenix is friends with those guys
and Bonnie
told them
Yep.
that we called them a bunch of commies.
So yes,
You know she should bully.
I-
She should
that was-
bully them because I know she's going to listen to this again.
That was a fantastic episode.
Absolutely, that was a phenomenal episode.
Yeah, they should come back on, especially Mag. Like I would love to have those guys on. Like have Oldman Trashman on again. I'd love to have Magnus on.
we need
again.
to get
Bully
Trashman
them.
on again for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
Like that would be super. Yeah,
But see,
you guys.
if we do that, then we
All right.
got to have Derek on, and then we have Andrew, we have me, we have a crayon eater, and we have a Navy person. We got everybody,
Yeah,
And a civilian.
and a civilian.
and our lone civvy host.
I'm
The
the only
guy
one
who
that knows how to
keeps us
push the
together.
buttons. So
Yeah, oh, that's
No,
true.
but- all
I
right.
can
On
hit
that
buttons
note,
with a hammer.
on that note, you guys got anything left?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Going once, going twice.
Sold.
Love, peace, and
So-
chicken grease.
What?
Bacon grease.
Chicken grease.
Bacon
Go
grease.
check out
Yeah.
Montana Daily Gazette. There's a fantastic op-ed piece written by Lyman Bishop. He is the owner of Hoplite Armor. He wrote a piece advocating for Montana secession, and it's a really good read. Lyman is an intelligent man.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And if anybody knows anybody who would like to sponsor this podcast, please give them my info because I like free things and I will happily pimp all of your shit.
That is kind of a universal thing here.
Yeah.
but-
Andrew is a patch prostitute. He really is.
Oh man, I am such an addict to morale patches. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
You hear that, Liz? He would do
Well,
dirty
you are
things
a
for
grunt,
new
Andrew.
batches.
Not surprising.
Yep. All right. On that note, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.